You are watching Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup. And if you win that lineup, you get $150 in bonus lineups. And today on the show, I'm going to be breaking down my top 5 storylines for Steelers fans to watch heading into preseason week 2 versus the New York Jets at Acrisure Stadium. Now, make sure you guys join us for our live watch party for this game, which will be beginning at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 90 minutes before the game actually kicks off. We're going to be having super chat raffles, live Q&A. So if you have questions before, during, or after the game, happy to answer the questions. We got live play-by-play and analysis, and we react to the game together. And then also we got that post-game show at the end of it as well, where I'm going to be breaking down my winners and losers from this game. But make sure you guys click that subscribe button to never miss a watch party this year. We're live for every single Steelers game this year, regular, and hopefully some postseason games as well. So if you guys want to experience the 2026 Steelers season with us here on Steelers Talk, click that subscribe button and join us for our watch parties. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to be watching out for here in this game is the obvious one, right? The young quarterbacks that will be playing every single snap of offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this preseason game. The veterans, Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph, are out, and the second-year quarterback, Will Howard, will be getting the entirety of the first half. The rookie out of Penn State, Drew Allar, will be getting the entirety of the second half. In the preseason opener, we only saw these guys play 3 drives apiece, and I thought both of them passed that first test. You guys can take a look at how these guys did in that preseason opener, and I do think Drew Allar clearly put up better numbers, but obviously Will was playing against slightly better competition, that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, man, I think both these guys played pretty darn well, and they passed that first test. And now they're going to be getting more than probably 3 drives in a half to show what they can do here in the preseason. But I think the guy that's definitely under the microscope heading into this game is Will Howard, because if he wants to make this team, I think he can't afford to miss a step. He cannot afford to have like a stinker of a game in the preseason, or the chances that he's going to get cut from this team go up exponentially, in my opinion. With Mason Rudolph not playing in this game, I mean, guys that don't play in preseason are usually guys that are A, for sure making the roster, or B, are injured, and Mason Rudolph isn't injured right now. So it seems like this team really likes Mason as a QB2, so it's either they're keeping 4 quarterbacks or Will Howard's getting cut. So Will has to play so well in this preseason where the Steelers feel like it's worth it to keep 4 quarterbacks on this roster, because let's be real, guys, Drew Allar is not getting cut, but Drew still has a lot to prove heading into this game, not because he's fighting for a roster spot or a QB2 job or anything like that right now, but he's looking to really continue to kind of continue on the performance that he had in week 1, and kind of proving that wasn't a fluke, and that, the accuracy issues won't pop up and all these different things. Drew doesn't want to be known as a guy that has a really good week 1 week and then he's just absolutely terrible the next week. If he wants to be a starter in this league, he's got to show that consistency, and that starts here in week 2 versus the New York Jets, as he's going to have quite a bit of runway to play the entire second half for the Pittsburgh Steelers in this preseason game, which, I'm really excited to watch. Drew Allar's got a lot of arm talent. He's very accurate, actually. I was really impressed with the accuracy and the mental processing in that preseason opener versus Green Bay last weekend, and I'm hoping that he can put on a show for us again in the second half in this one. But let me know who plays better down there in the comment section. Type WH if you think it's going to be Will Howard, or type DA if you think Drew Allar outplays the second-year quarterback out of Ohio State. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And now I want to tell you about our brand new sponsor here on Steelers Talk, which is Courtyard. Head on over to courtyard.io and use code HMA at checkout for 15% off today. Courtyard lets collectors rip digital packs of real, authentically graded trading cards, and it's really fun to use, guys. It's free to sign up. And by the way, we're going to be giving away a card this week, and the only thing that you guys have to do to enter that competition, that giveaway, is create a free account on the Courtyard app and then put your username for your account under the pinned comment on today's show. And we were actually able to get a Terry Bradshaw card for you guys for this week's giveaway. Back from 1972. It's a really cool card. Now, the grade isn't super high. It's only a 3.5 PSA graded card, but it's a really cool card that goes back to 1972, which, of course, was a pivotal year for the Pittsburgh Steelers building up their dynasty where they would dominate the rest of the 70s. So if you guys want a chance to win this Terry Bradshaw 1972 card, you guys can put your Courtyard username down there in the comments section. And with Courtyard, guys, real-time odds are listed for each pack before you rip, so there's no loaded boxes or rigged breaks. There's also an instant buyback, so you never get stuck with a card that you don't want. I think that's an awesome feature that they have. You guys can head over to courtyard.io and use my code HMA at checkout for 15% off. And remember, comment your username to enter the giveaway this week. The link is in the comments and description of today's show. And a big thank you to Courtyard for sponsoring us here at Steelers Talk. Continuing on our list of Week 2 storylines in the preseason to watch out for, can the winners keep it up from last week? All right, I had 10 winners on my official winners list on my post-game show last week. If you want to check that out, you guys can go do so for my full thoughts. But, I mean, I thought these 10 players, or actually 8 players, really played well in this particular football game. And I think that, especially guys like Lou Nichols, who is looking to make this team as the 4th running back. I'm going to be looking at Jeremy Bernard as one of these rookies. Can he have a really good performance like he had last week, even when Mason Rudolph isn't throwing him the football? Will Robert Tonyan connect with Will Howard like he was last week? Can Gabriel Rubio be the run stuffer he was this past week? Is Jamin Davis going to get after the quarterback? Hayden Weegan, is he going to be healthy enough? And if he is he going to be as explosive as he was last week, where, of course, he took that 95-yard pass from Drew Allar near the end zone? So I think that all these players played really well last week. Excited to see if they can double up on those performances in this ball game. But then also, how do the rookies look? That's another big question. And obviously, it's a big question for every NFL team heading into a preseason game, because this is really where the rookies get their chance to show the team what they can do. Now, Max Ahanicher not going to be playing in this game, all than likely. Still dealing with that injury. But Jeremy Bernard played really well last week. Excited to see him again. Drew Allar, of course, we've already talked about. Dalen Everett dealing with an injury at the point that I'm filming this video. We'll see if he's able to play. Gennings Dunker as well. We'll see if he's able to play. Same thing goes for Caden Weegan. Unfortunately, there are some rookies that are dealing with some injuries. But Riley Nowakowski had a touchdown last week. Gabriel Rubio was awesome last week playing at nose tackle. Robert Spears-Jennings has been a stud in camp to this point. Excited to see him play. He had a big TFL last week against the Packers that was super impressive. And Eli Eidenreich, excited to see what Eli can do, maybe some of the receiving chops that he brings to the table. Then another storyline to watch out for here, guys, is the battle at right guard. Obviously, Spencer Anderson is expected to be this team's starting right guard heading into the season, but Brock Hoffman is technically in the race right now. I think Hoffman actually played better than Anderson last week in the preseason, and if I'm being honest, I think Hoffman has played better than Spencer Anderson throughout the course of camp. So could Hoffman put his foot in the door here and kind of break this thing loose and maybe work his way into the starting lineup? I don't think it's impossible, especially if he puts together a really good performance here and Anderson really struggles. But another name to keep an eye on here is Gennings Dunker. Dunker was one of the most impressive offensive linemen on the entire team last week versus Green Bay, driving people backwards in the run game, protecting the quarterback, Drew Allar, pretty darn well in pass protection. I was a little surprised by that. He wasn't the best pass protector at Iowa. So excited about Gennings Dunker's future. He's definitely the future at this position, but we'll see which of these guys can really solidify themselves in the weeks to come. But let me know your opinion down there in the comments section. Who should start at right guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season? Give me an SA for Spencer Anderson, a BH for Brock Hoffman, or a GD for Gennings Dunker. While you answer that question, I'm going to tell you about the other sponsor on today's edition of Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, which is Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Preseason football is here, and there isn't a better place to cash in on your football takes this season than with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player snap projections and then lock in your lineup. You guys have seen this quite a bit as my season-long projected lineup here for the AFC North. I'm taking the more on Aaron Rodgers' passing touchdowns, the more on sacks for Jalen Ramsey, and the more on rushing touchdowns for Lamar Jackson. I put in a $10 entry fee on this one, and because this is a 6x multiplier lineup, if I win this and I get all three of these projections correct in what Prize Picks calls a power play, I could walk away with $60 in winnings from Prize Picks. But best of all, guys, PrizePicks just switched their offer. All you have to do is play your first $5 lineup with code HMA, and if you win that lineup, you get $150 in additional lineups. Because of this new offer, there's not a better time to join than right now, right before the start of football season. So lock in and win that first lineup. One more time, that's code HMA at signup and get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app today. As always, play responsibly, and a big thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring Steelers Talk. Final thing I'm going to be looking out for here in this game is, can Rayshawn Jenkins hold strong and have a strong performance in this game? Because we have seen over the last several days that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been linked to Raiders safety Isaiah Polamalu, who, by the way, is also the nephew of Troy Polamalu and played under Patrick Graham in the Las Vegas Raiders defense dating back to 2022. So he's absolutely somebody that the Steelers could acquire late in the preseason here and can, be injected as this team's number 3 safety, which is what this team brought Rayshawn Jenkins in free agency to do. But if he's not able to play well, if he's not looking good in coverage, etc., and they feel like the younger Isaiah Polamalu is going to be able to do a better job, and the Steelers have to give up a 7th-round pick to make sure that they solidify their safety room, that might be something that they decide to do. So Rayshawn Jenkins, even though right now definitely somebody that is slated to make this final 53-man roster, you're not just competing against the guys in the safety room. You're competing against the other players the Steelers could theoretically bring in. Darnell Savage learned that lesson the hard way, which is why he's no longer here. So I'm going to be watching number 31 quite a bit early on in this game on the defensive side of the ball for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. What is the number one thing that you'll be watching for this week during the preseason game versus the New York Jets? I'm guessing a lot of people will be talking about Will Howard and Drew Allar down there in the comment section. But if there's something else, feel free to let me know in the comments as well. And if you guys want my post-game all-22 analysis of this upcoming preseason game versus the New York Jets, I'm going to be posting my all-22 analysis on the Pittsburgh Steelers every single game, every single week on my X account at Jack_Sperry. Really do appreciate your guys' support. You guys can also go back and see my all-22 analysis of last week's preseason opener. It's already up on my X account. So if you guys want daily and free extensive Steelers coverage on X, give me a follow at Jack_Sperry.